Hi, I'm Bob Trask. This is our weekly reset. How comfortable is your life? How secure does it seem? And I ask that question knowing that in today's world, with all the political stuff and international stuff going on, it could be a little bit iffy to ask somebody, how secure does your life seem? Because for a lot of us, it seems a little less secure than it did a few years ago. But that's comfort, isn't it? That's a comfort zone. And is that comfort an isolation to some degree? Like, in other words, if I build a comfort zone and I say, this is who I am, this is this is who I am in the world, and this is what I project into the world from my sense of who I am. What if that's limited? What if that's not really who I am? What if I'm way more than that? And I wouldn't know because I'm locked in to what I conceive to be my identity or my limits. And is that comfort, that isolation, truly what we want? Is it? Deep in your soul, is that you? Is that security who you wanted to be when you grew up? Is that who I wanted to be when I grew up? Or did you have dreams of being and doing and having something more exciting? And if so, what happened? What happened? Helen Keller said, security is mostly superstition. This is Helen Keller. This is the lady who was born, or very soon after she was born, she found herself to be deaf and blind. Incredible mind, but locked inside of this body that couldn't see or hear. She said, security is mostly superstition. Coming from Helen Keller. It doesn't exist in nature, she said. Boy, oh boy, that's such an important statement. It doesn't exist in nature. Like that tree out there doesn't have any security. It only has its being one with nature and using all of the flood and flow of energy and wisdom into it from the ground and from other trees and from the sky and the wind and the snow and the rain and the sunshine, and all flooding into it to give it its sense of beingness. Helen says security is mostly superstition. I want you to really hear that. I'm really hearing that today. Take a look at our security blanket. Take a look at our comfort zone. That's mostly superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. We as kids don't experience that security. Avoiding danger, she said, is no safer in the long run than outright exposure to that danger. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure to it. Life is, she said this, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. I'm laughing, I'm not laughing out of joy. I'm laughing a little bit out of a chagrin that I know people in my life for whom life has stopped being a daring adventure. It's nothing at all. They're going through their physical digestions each day, and they're going through their waking up and going to sleep, but there's nobody home. There's nobody home. We can relate to what Helen's saying here. She was deaf and blind, and yet she said and did things that influenced the world. She became her dreams, even though she was so limited. And I want to become my dreams. I want to become my dreams. Is there anything more important? Should I stop before I get there? Should I say, oh, but I might injure somebody, or somebody might be upset with me, or I might disappoint somebody, or I might have to step outside my comfort zone, or I might have to wear different clothes, or if I want to have my dreams come true, isn't that more than anything? Am I not being guided by that universal presence that people call God, that is the great creative power? Or am I not being guided by that to dare to reach beyond? But of course, if I do that, I'm going to have to let go of some things that keep me artificially secure. And I'm going to have to become one with nature, one with the trees, one with the meadows, and one with the wind. When we were kids, we were one with all of that. What happened? Life should be full of unexpected experiences and challenges and opportunities for growth rather than a predictable, predetermined, and boring path. Predictable, predetermined, boring path. Adventure demands that we embrace the unknown. Adventure, living an adventurous life. Getting up in the morning with a heart beating rather than slagging along behind me, saying, my heart saying, oh boy, another day, let's go do it. That's adventure. It demands that we embrace the unknown. It demands that we step outside our comfort zones. It demands that we discover the excitement of becoming who we truly here came to be. Some of us live now, or have lived at times, lives of excitement and even of danger. I'm one of those people. There's a whole lot of us. It's not necessary to be climbing a mountain or jumping out of an airplane in order to live a life adventure, though. What it takes is to stop pretending to know. Oh my God. We pretend to know. You know what? We don't know anything. We don't know anything. Scientists, we have such great love for science and scientists and those heroic men and women who are in their laboratories and out doing archaeology or whatever and experimenting all the time. They don't know anything. They only know what they've discovered so far, and they know that they don't yet know. They're constantly seeking what? Knowledge. But you and I, non-scientific people, we pretty much say, no, I know, I already know how that is. I already know. We have got it all figured out. We don't know. We need to stop pretending to know and reach for the unknown in the process of becoming. So let's taste life bite by bite and no longer consume it without knowing its flavor. I know people that eat, and I swear to God, they've never tasted food in years. In years. They take enormous bites and they shovel it in and they shovel it into their stomachs. But how about you take a bite and you hold it in your mouth, and I dare you to just keep it in your mouth. The Buddhists in one sect say you should chew 50 times. If you put something in your mouth and chew it 50 times, by the end of 35 or 30 times, that's nothing but mush. But keep chewing, and the flavor comes out of that substance and goes into the roof of your mouth and your tongue and all the taste buds, and it just it explodes inside of you. And you find down then that you are risking outside of your comfort zones, and you're finding the flavor of life itself. And I can tell you that as you do that with eating and with all other experiences, if you do that, here's what happens. I take a bite of this, whatever it is. I'm going to use dark chocolate because why not? So I take this bite of dark chocolate, and it begins to melt in my mouth, and I hold it against the roof of my mouth, and I can feel this tingling and this kind of going on. And I refuse to swallow it. I refuse to swallow it. By now it's flitting around my tongue and under my tongue, and it's all over in my inside my mouth, and I refuse to swallow it. And my taste buds are going da 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 da, and all of this energy is going into my system, and I'm outside of my comfort zone, and I'm experiencing something I can't catalog. See, that's the thing about comfort zones, is we have everything cataloged in there. We have information. Oh, wow, this fits in file 16, category 5, right there. That fits there. No, no, no. Truth doesn't fit in any category. You can't get information and say it's truth. Information is information. It's not truth. Information with inspiration can lead you to the truth, but information by itself is not truth. And if I'm eating, if I'm just gobbling food down, then I'm not tasting it. I'm not tasting life. Here's an example. Adam and Eve. We know all about Adam and Eve. Keep in mind that's a myth. There never was such a person as Adam and Eve. It's a myth. I know I don't want to step on religious toes. Please forgive me if I am. Be patient with me while I go through this. And if it contrasts with your beliefs, then stay with your beliefs. It's fine. But Adam and Eve's lives were eternal. Imagine these two magnificently beautiful people, a man and a woman, naked. They had no need for clothes. They never got cold. They never got hot. They were just naked. They didn't have any sexual desires. They were just two naked people living in the garden forever, 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 forever. And there were hummingbirds and dragonflies and ladybugs and roses and flowers and trees and wind and sky and deep blue clouds and the crystal clear stream running by with beautiful fish in it. They didn't see any of that. They were just two naked people living in a garden forever. There was no adventure. Everything was the same. Every day, every year, forever, every century, forever. So one day they looked at each other and they said, "What the hell? Let's eat that apple." So they went over to the tree and popped that apple off and began eating it, and life began. Life began. Kids, joy, heartbreak, birthday parties, more heartbreak, marriages, more heartbreak, it's sicknesses, death, more heartbreak, more adventure, more joy, more beauty. And for the first time ever in their lives, they found themselves doing something they'd never done before. They found themselves laughing and crying. They learned that their nice, calm, predictable life had become a prison. They discovered that true life is filled with shocks and surprises and of learning how to face challenges. Learning how to face challenges, not crying the blues about, "Oh my God, you don't know how bad it is for me. I've got this thing going on and it's just awful." And blah, tough. Everybody's got their stuff going on. In that wonderful book that Scott Peck wrote, in the very first sentence of the book, he said, "Life is difficult, and it is difficult, and it's supposed to be difficult." I'm watching baseball now, but I can watch soccer. None of those people go out onto the field and say, "Well, this is going to be a piece of cake. This is going to be easy." Oh no, they go out there going, "This is going to be tough." But they go out. Onto the field. And like Adam and Eve, we eat apples every day. But it's not the same, is it? What could be the same? Each apple could be a portal into an adventurous life, but usually we just eat with our mind somewhere else. And if we ask, we'd probably say, "Oh, I don't need to taste this apple. I know what apples taste like. I don't need to focus on this." So I just let it go. I'm telling you, there's a portal in that taste of that apple and that dark chocolate, and that seeing somebody in the store, in that seeing a beautiful girl or a beautiful woman, and that seeing a handsome, powerful man, and that seeing an older person and seeing the wisdom. And there's a path in that. There's a portal in that. That's the apple. It's the feeling of the wind. It's the sharing of laughter. It's opening a portal into the plethora of experiences and adventures that were beyond imagination and should be beyond imagination, because we should be led by imagination into the unknown, into the greater, always the greater, the discovery of that. So are we willing to do that? Are we willing to go through our comfort zones, the gates of our comfort zones, and go into true life? So here's what we do. We shop at the same stores, we drive the same routes, we eat the same food, we associate with the same people, we stay safe and comfortable, and the people that we associate are also staying safe and comfortable while they're waiting for their numbers to be called. We're all sitting in these chairs in the Department of Motor Vehicles. There's a little ticket and it's got a number, and we're waiting for our number to be called, and then we step off the planet. And is that life? Is that all there is to life? Is to find a comfortable place where we can sit, be comfortable and secure and safe, and then wait for a number to be called? Hello? I don't think so. We're living in paradise. It's filled with adventure and color. And God, I was sitting on the porch just before I came on and watching Dragonfly going back and forth, back and forth. And he was kind of an iridescent blue, and he had these four wings, and he was going back and forth. And I was watching him, and I was thinking, he's breathing. He's got a little heart in there. He's looking. He's seeing. He's going to live such a short time. Like I don't know how long a dragonfly lives. A day, 2 days, something like that. Really short. But he's alive and he's experiencing. And I need to be experiencing too. So what if we go to the produce section of the store and we find this, and we're going along through the produce section and we see this green thing, and we look at it and we've never seen that before. What the heck is that? And so I go over and I look at it and I pick it up and I smell it, and you turn around. I don't know what it is. I look for the sign. There's no sign. I don't know what it is. Now, here's how that green thing becomes the apple. Here's how it becomes the apple that Eve and Adam took a bite of in the garden. Here's how it becomes the portal. As I hold that and I look over, and there's a man standing there. He seems kind of a grim, controlled man, and he's standing not far from me, and he's looking at the tomatoes or something. And I say, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Can you tell me what this is?" And then he walks over and he looks at it. Maybe he takes it and smells it, and he puts it back. And he says, "No, I don't know what it is." And I said, "Do you come from a place where they have these kind of things? What state do you come from? Where do you come from?" He says, "Well, I come from," then he tells you where he comes from, and you say, "God, what was life like there?" And you may only have this guy for 30 seconds or 60 seconds. You may have him just for a brief period of time, but in that period of time, that green thing that you don't know what as was a portal to you getting him in your life and getting into him life, and you connected. And if you were outside of your comfort zone, something opened in you that had never opened before, because this is the only time in history you'll ever connect with this man in this way. And something electrical went back and forth between the two of you and opened both of you, if in fact you're willing to be outside your comfort zone. Otherwise, it's just information, not inspiration, just information. Just goes by. I knew another guy he's from Kansas. I knew another guy from Topeka. They're pretty much all the same. So then maybe ask another person and another person. How many people can you talk to while you're holding this green thing that you're not going to buy? You might become a free diver. You might go into the ocean, and you might go out in the deep water, the blue water, and you might dive down, breath holding, dive down 100 feet. And in that, down at the 100 feet, in that new world of no color, there's no color down there at 100 feet, just sort of some soft blues, but mostly it's colorless. And you're down in this deep, beautiful, and then you look over in this clear water and you see swimming towards you. I might say flying towards you, because when you're underwater like that, that's a different atmosphere and things fly. The fish are flying and you're flying. And then you look over, and flying towards you is this enormous shark. This big shark. Now, when you see that shark, that's a thrill. It's a thrill. Something goes into your system, and you're gonna send it one way or the other. You're gonna send it to positive thrill, or you're gonna send it to dread and fear, terror. You're gonna send it one way or the other. If you send it to fear and terror, then he'll sense that and he'll know you're prey. If in fact you send it into the adventurous part, then he'll know that you're not prey, or at least you can teach him that you're not prey by being a little bit aggressive. So what sharks are in the waters around you and me today? Today, life's challenges. That letter you got from the IRS, that bill you got from the doctor, that diagnosis that you got from the laboratory. Those are challenges. Those are the sharks. Are we prey? Are we going, oh God, no, oh no, why me? Then the energy of nature, capital N, nature, the energy of nature, which holds that thing that came to you, it's all metaphysical. Everything is just energy. Everything is energy. The energy that's in that letter or that diagnosis or whatever that came to you, that energy sees you as either the result of or the cause of. You want to be the result of, or you want to be the cause of? Oh, look at here. I got a diagnosis. Look at this. This is interesting. I'm going to call Jack and see what he thinks about this. Yeah, this is good information. That kind of shocks me, and yeah, scares me a little bit. Well, but I'll go forward because I accept that, and I'm going to go forward. Or I can shun it and say, "Oh, I don't want to go there. I don't." We're alive. We're alive. We're alive deep under the sea. We are. And every experience changes us. It redefines who we are. If we're terrified, the experiences diminish us. If we're grateful and thrilled, then the experiences expand us. Which of those experiences is the apple I want? Which of those is the apple you want? The apple of life, of adventure, is hanging on the tree, waiting for us. So Teddy Roosevelt said, it's far better to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, and to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much because they live in the gray twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. I'm looking at my life today. Come and look at your life with me today. I'm looking at my life today. What do I want? What does that beautiful child heart in me want? What do I want to become? What do I want to discover? What do I want to accomplish? And am I doing that? Or am I staying in my boring little Garden of Eden comfort zone? Can I watch a bug? Can I see a bug crawling up the wall and just go watch it and say, gosh, he's got a little heart inside of there, and he's got little lungs inside of there, and a little liver and little kidneys, and he's a little guy, he's so tiny, and he's got his life, and he's so busy, and he's gonna go do his thing. Can I just do that? Because that's the apple. It expands me. Then I'm not just this Bob Trask thing, this guy in this body. I'm the spiritual being of the universe. I'm one with everything, and everything is flowing through me. The wind and the current and the fish and the sharks and the adventures all flowing through me. But I have to embrace the unknown. I have to taste the wind. So I ask you to book a trip somewhere you've never been, or never even considered, and go find shelter and food there. We all have to leave the planet eventually. But while we're waiting for our number to be called, let's live. Let's get out of our little comfortable chairs and live. Adventures come only when we are ready for them. When the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. We must live in truth. That the acceptance of not knowing is the goal. We think we know, but we don't. No one knows. Life is existence. It's far too big to be understood. And it's like a river. It's weaving and winding and changing constantly. I can't put it in a box and say, no, this is the way life is. It's not like that. It's changing all the time. But we can't go forward from here unless we have a vision. And that vision must be so captivating that we can't ignore it. It must lead us on constantly. Into what direction? Into what adventure? We'll discover it and tame it and become it. The vision's got to be so delicious, it makes the difficulties of making it come true worth the struggle. And we live in adventure then. What we discover is not new lands or seas. What we discover is ourselves. What you discover is the true you, again and again. Andre Gide said, man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. We have to let go. We have to have the courage to let go, to step forward into our dreams and have that elevated respiratory and heart rate that comes with challenges. And then we get a shot of norepinephrine. It's a neurotransmitter and hormone that plays a crucial role in alertness, attention, and mood regulation. And it's involved in enhancing focus and cognitive function. And it comes when you take a risk. Norepinephrine changes your life. John Krakauer, an adventurer and a mountain climber and truly a fine author and great mind, began climbing mountains when he was 8, and he summited Mount Rainier in Washington State when he was 10 years old. I'm telling you, I live in that state. That's a tough mountain to climb. And then at age 42, he summited Mount Everest. And a lot of people died on the trip that he was on up Mount Everest. So many people live within unhappy circumstances and yet will not take the initiative to change their situation because they're condemned to a life of security, conformity, and conservation, all of which appear to give one peace of mind. But in reality, nothing is more damaging to the adventurous spirit within a man than a secure future. The very basic core of man's living spirit is his passion for adventure. You knew that when you were a little kid. You knew that when you were a little kid. You were looking for the greatest adventures you could find. And you were secure in the knowledge that you could do it. What doesn't matter. I'll be a nurse, a doctor, a fireman, I'll sea captain, whatever. I can do that. Then later we began building our walls, our little prisons. Not necessary. So you and I are free. You're free. Right now, you are free, 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 free. There's nothing stopping you. If you go forward from here, if you eat the apple and you go forward into the adventure, you're going to fail. I almost can promise you're going to fail. Then is that why you wouldn't go? Because you'll fail? But every time you fail, you get closer to success. And every time you fail, you learn more, you grow more inside. And that's what we're here to do, is grow more inside. So let's go forward this week. Let's take a look at our comfort zones. And let's say, I think I can do better. And let's reach beyond those comfort zones. And let's see if we can't find a way to expand our lives. Every one of us. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. Please stop by bobtrask.com and leave a donation so that you can be a part of this good work that's going on in the world.